AOC, Alexandria Occasional Cortex, she was talking about time to get back. And here's the friend of the worker. She's the barkeeper who knows what it's like to be a worker. You know, she's from Scarsdale, but still, she knows what it's like to be a worker. Here's her talking about when we start to come back.
I think when we talk about this idea of reopening society, you know, only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say, no, we're not going back to that. We're not going back to working 70-hour weeks just so that we could put food on the table and not even feel any sort of semblance of security in our lives.
A wonderful young bartender.
So, liberation is not going back to work. What does she think it is? What does she think it is? She thinks it's like Burning Man. I don't understand what she thinks liberation is. Of course, it's like going back to your life. Your life matters. Your life is what your life is all about. Your life is why you are here. This is something conservatives sometimes don't understand too. You've heard me arguing with the guys around here about not letting communities collapse because people can't just move on to other communities. When, no individual, this is something that I've developed over time because I started out because I work so much in isolation as a writer, I developed a sense of individualism that was a little bit beyond reality. None of us is an island. We're all connected together. Our individuality is actually part of a greater individuality, which is all of us together. And that's something I think that when the Christians talk about the body of Christ, that's what they're trying to establish. So, you have to change the things as reality touches your imagination. You have to start to change your opinion. These people, I gotta say, they do not know what's going on. I mean, this has been to me maybe the biggest revelation. It's not that I didn't have a clue about this before, but I did not realize it was this bad. What I've been thinking about when I watch these people is how stupid are they? They don't care about freedom. They don't care about America. They don't realize that their traditions are important, and all that stuff is true. But what this has brought out to me is the idea that they are completely sequestered from the actual lives that people live. When Barry Weiss says Twitter doesn't understand that life is about relationship and it's about, reality, they don't get that at all. They have no idea what relationship and reality is. And somebody like that, like AOC, we have another cut. What Cuomo was saying to that woman when he said, the disease is death, so nothing is worse than death. Then he went on to say this about going back to work.
How can the cure be worse than the illness if the illness is potential death?
But what if the economy failing
worse than death
equals death because of mental illness? The people stuck at home.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't equal death. Economic hardship, yes, very bad. Not death.
Right.
You want to go to work? Go take a job as an essential worker. Do it tomorrow. Right? You're working.
I am.
You're an essential worker. So go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the pandemic.
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone.
Oh, my God. I mean, really, it's just like a complete dissociation. I have to say, it's like the second time this week, I think I told the story about my old man, which I don't usually do. But, he had to go to work he was a radio DJ, right? So he had to go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. He would wake up 3 o'clock and he'd be out the door at least by 4 o'clock. And if it snowed, if it was a blizzard, he would wake me and my brothers up and we would push his car at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning down to the place where the shoveling began, because it wasn't on our street. So we'd push his car to where the shoveling began so he could drive to work. And he used to go on the air and say, they tell you if you're not an essential worker, don't come to work. Who's not essential and to whom is his work not essential? Everybody's essential to himself and everybody is doing essential stuff because what he's doing is feeding his family. The disconnect between that man, between Andrew Cuomo, the words coming out of his mouth, the disconnect between AOC and the people and the lives that people live, the disconnect between the environmentalists and the lives that people live. I know it's a little bit obscure and philosophical when I talk about your internal life and the fact that you create the sounds and you create the beauty and you create the morality in tandem with God, that you create the world that matters. Beauty is truth and truth is beauty because you create the world that matters. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Andrew Klavan Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all our future content.